Suciotalk. Here we are once again. I haven't dropped a solo episode in like 3 months. I'm sorry about that. I haven't done any intros either. I just been on the run. A lot has happened since we last Suciotalked. I think it was, let's see. I went to go work on another ranch, right? My time at the ranch had... let me start from the beginning. How about this? January 2021, I leave the Charter Oak, right? January 10th. January 12th, I was in Palm Springs working as a personal chef, right? In the middle of this beautiful golf course. It was dope. So I knew that job contract was going to end in October. The cool thing about it was that in May, I went up to Wyoming. And if you listen to the show, you definitely heard me talk about, now I can say what ranch it is, the Hawkeye Ranch. It's a badass ranch. It's just a place where he can invite his family and friends to come chill. When you hustle all your life and you're successful, that's the kind of shit that you are, that you can do, right? So, and that's one of my goals, to be able to be like, hey, taking the whole family on vacation. How badass is that? You know what I mean? Hey, I rented an island, and I'm taking everybody, That's the kind of shit that I feel like would be special to do with the earnings of a highly successful person, right? So, cooking there, right? Anywhere from 16 to 60 people a day, 30 people a day, I believe. I think it was like 32. And then... in October 10th, after I had worked at another ranch down the street, I say down the street, it was like 40 minutes, but still on the South Fork Road of Cody, Wyoming. I worked at that place. I was chill. I worked with these cool-ass people, and, it was breakfast, lunch, and dinner type situation for 4 heads, which is the dopest, cushest job you could ever ask for, right? Cooked them all those meals. I had a great time. Sat with them the last night, and that's always a good sign, right? As a personal chef, they invite you to sit with them. They invite you to talk to them. And nowadays, Sucio is nothing but himself, right? So if I sit down at the table, you're going to just hear me the way it is on the show, the way it is in real life. You know what I mean? I'd like to take a moment before I start to thank every listener that has downloaded the show, watched the show on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, please, if you haven't yet. Give it a like on Spreaker. I know I'm bad at asking you guys to do that kind of stuff because to me, like, I should just have better content so it happens naturally, right? Instead of asking for it. They got a rating system now on Spotify, so give me them 5 stars. They said when they get enough ratings, they're gonna post the rating on the show. That would help me a lot. So thank you to all the listeners, all the supporters, everyone that I have met through my journey these past 3 months, people that have hooked me up with podcasts, left and right. Special shout out to Andrew Chang. He's becoming a good friend of mine, and I've only actually seen him one time. So, but we've talked a lot. He's a fellow wrestling fan as well, so we talk about that and the restaurant industry as a whole and things that happen, articles, things like that. But he got me most of the podcast on this road trip, like single-handedly. And once I told him that I needed his help and I gave him the tour dates, he was able to line it up. So thank you to Andrew Chang for lining it up with all those chefs. I'm talking Michael Corvino. He's probably listening to this right now going to be like, it's listing all the names. Because that's how Suciotalk be, Sometimes you wanted to be in the conversation. And that's what the show is all about. I recently met up with Chef Costow, and he was like, I listened to the Katiana Hong and John Hung episode. Those were his CDCs at the restaurant at Meadowwood before they departed. And then Chef Cat also opened the Charter Oak, right? And he was like, I listened to it and I just wanted to be in the conversation. And Andrew Cheng told me the same thing. He said he'd be sitting there listening, like answering the questions for us. So Michael Corvino, Justin McMillan, Andrew McLeod, that's off the top. There's probably more. I'm just unsure at this time. I decided to do this without any notes. So that's what's going on. All right. All I'm going to do here is just go through my itinerary that I made for myself, and we'll start talking about the road trip from there. So originally this road trip came about because I wanted to get Suciotalk out there. And what better way to get it out there than to knock on doors and sell your product, right? So, but it worked out great, and honestly, you're right where you need to be always, even if you're having the worst day. So for all you cooks, chefs, somms, dishwashers, fucking beverage directors, GMs, fucking back waiters, bar backs, fucking bathroom attendants, right? All you hospitality people out there, the front desk people at the hotel, that just want to provide you with a nice day, right? With a nice time. So when you have those bad experiences, just remember that those people did not wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to fuck up this person's dinner. All right. I'd like to think that most things are an accident, except for the things that are not. That probably sounds really dumb, but that's okay, because this is Suciotalk. It's fine. So I get on the road trip. First thing I notice is, I'm sorry. Let me back up. October 10th was the day that I left the first ranch. The second ranch, I left on October 22nd, and I went ahead and flew up to Chicago because I knew that I wasn't going to get there on the road trip. Right, it was like 6 hours out of the way. Fucking crazy. So I went to Chicago. I had a Big Kids burger, which was fucking delicious. I'm talking about a smash patty, seasoned well. I think they use Lowry salt, I want to say. Shredded lettuce and a shit ton of mayonnaise on a soft-ass sesame seed bun. I mean, like, what else do you need? You know what I mean? Speaking of Chicago, shout out to Chef Natalia Boa. Chef Natalia Boa is a fellow Boricua chef out there in Chicago, in Chi-Town. So shout out to you. We got my man Troy George, right? Chef at Temperance. He was on the podcast. And then I had Hillary Grossman on, who's a pastry chef with hotline experience. And I'm talking about butchering whole fucking cows and then becoming a pastry chef. I mean, fucking legitimate career. When I named the episode, I mean, I called it fucking Powerhouse Butcher Pastry Chef, you know? And then I came back to Denver, right? So to get to Chicago originally, I had to drive down from Cody, Wyoming to Denver. That's about 8 hours. And I knew there was a snowstorm coming, so I left. And like 3 hours into my road trip, it was just snowstorm city. I'm talking about just heavy snow, everyone going 15 miles an hour, and I'm in a Camaro like, yo, I don't even know what I'm going to do if I get stuck out here, right? So it's just me and a bunch of 18-wheelers at that time of night, because I left at like 4, right? I'm a night driver. That's something that I'm also going to tell you about a few times what I did, and you guys are going to be like, you're crazy, but that's all right. So Denver was the first city. And then let me just list them here, right? Denver, 10/26, 2021. Kansas City, Missouri, 10/27. St. Louis, Missouri, 10/28. Nashville, Tennessee, 10/29 to 11/1. Atlanta, Georgia, 11/2 to 11/3. Asheville, North Carolina, 11/4. Washington, D.C., 11/5 to 11/6. New York City, 11/7. Then took a flight to Long Beach, did an event, came back on the 10th, stayed in New York City till the 12th. Then went to Connecticut, visited family at 13th and the 14th. Went to Providence, Rhode Island. That was the 15th, did a podcast there. Connecticut, the 16th, again, to see some more familia. Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, That was the 17th. Richmond, Virginia, 18th. Greenville, South Carolina, 19th. Shout out to Nathan Kryler. Charleston, South Carolina, 11:20 to 11:21. Ormond Beach, Florida, did not make it there. New Orleans, Louisiana, 11:23 to 11:25. And then I drove to Houston, Texas on Thanksgiving. Forgot it was Thanksgiving. And then had to stop at a gas station and ate some gas station food for Thanksgiving. Don't feel bad for me. I was on the fucking epic trip of my life. It was fucking incredible. All of it was, right? Again, first world problems. You know what I mean? If you wake up in the morning and go to the tap and can open that and water comes out, you're living a good life, regardless of all the drama, the bullshit that you're dealing with. So, sometimes you got to stop looking at the negative and start looking at the positive. All right? And that's something that you hear a lot. So let's go, people. Fucking, where we leave off? New Orleans, Louisiana, Houston, Texas. That's when I ate fucking Thanksgiving dinner at a gas station. Austin, Texas, 11:27 to 11:28. Shout out to Chef Furman Nunez for letting me stay at his house, just like out of the blue. I went there first on the 27th, did a podcast with him, and he said, "You want to stay at my house? Sure, bro. Here you go. Fucking stay here. Here's the weed. Fucking, let my dog out, and I'll see you later." So I was like, dude, the nicest guy I've ever met in my life. You know what I'm saying? The nicest chef. Some of the funniest TSA warnings that he writes on his mise en place before he sends it. It's pretty cool. Then I went to the Western Apacheria in Arizona. So I went to the White Apache Mountains in Arizona. Shout out to Nephi Craig. Las Vegas, Nevada did not make it there. That was 12-1 to 12-2. Did not make it. Los Angeles, California, 12-4 to 12-7. That was amazing. Then I went up to Oakland, 12-8. That's where I'm moving to. Oakland. All right? That's where you find Sucio at. Then I went to the Napa Valley from 12-9 to 12-13. That's when I did the podcast with Jacqueline that I just dropped. And fucking shit's dope. It's dope that I got to do this. The road trip was amazing. I was just right at the right place at the right time always. And I felt blessed, So the first chef I had on the road trip was the chef at Senor Bear in Denver, Boricua. He's on, what's it called? On Instagram as Monsieur Cochon. And Ricky renuncia, mamabicho. You know what I mean? He is the man. And I'm trying to do a dinner this year with Jose Enrique and himself. Let's see if I can pull that off, right? Because if you don't do it, who's going to fucking do it? No one. Get up, do it, right? So he's been at Senor Bear for a long while now, and he's been the chef there. He's from Puerto Rico, born and raised. His family was in the restaurant industry forever. So, but a good point that he made was, why is it so hard for a chef that's Puerto Rican born and maybe trained somewhere else to come back and open his own restaurant? And even the locals, well, it's because outside millionaires are moving in, capitalizing on laws that are made for them and taking the land, just like, has always happened everywhere since the beginning of time. So that in turn is what Suciotalk is becoming. If you listen to the Kevin Fink episode, I explained there at the beginning what my goals are as far as the infrastructure of Puerto Rico's agricultural programs. The fact that a hurricane comes, obviously you cannot help the hurricane coming, right? But there is no infrastructure or programs made to quickly get out of that situation. It's going to happen. Almost every year there's hurricane season, right? And the government refuses to be prepared for it. So then we need aid from other places. And, shit gets fucked up. So I hope that this podcast can turn out enough loot for me to be able to donate to the right people in Puerto Rico to get our agriculture back to where it needs to be, because there is no reason why we should be